Happy New Year, folks, as we are closing out the first quarter of the 21st century at this point. Holy crap, that's nothing. Yeah, wow. I'm Scott. That's Ryan. That's Day. Rob Manning should be on in a couple of minutes from now. And this is Tales from the Film Set. We're going to be talking film. We're going to be talking movies. We're going to be talking reviews of movies that haven't come out yet, thanks to Dayveonne in this particular case. And, of course, our monthly Cash or Trash, breaking down, in this case, Beekeeper, Mean Girls, ISS, and Book of Clarence. Will they make money at the box office? Will they be a laughable failure? We will discuss. First of all, gentlemen, how are you?
Happy New Year, everyone.
And God bless us, everyone.
And why, Ryan, why are you so down?
No, nothing down.
Listen, to be fair, he hasn't said a single thing negative yet.
I know, it's just this aura. It was just like,
man.
Yeah.
No. Nothing against anybody or anyone in particular that maybe didn't show up at a certain party on a Friday, but that's neither here nor there.
Dude.
That's neither here nor there, right? It's a new year.
It's neither here nor there, but it's clearly here.
Chinese New Year has yet to happen, and it's really good.
So
I will make it up. Jesus Christ.
All right. So let's start this off. Day, this is pretty much going to be all on you, sir. So I'm going to put you right up top there. You at this point have already caught a screening of The Beekeeper, Jason Statham's latest film where he makes snarky comments and beats people up. You, of course, have seen it at this point. Roll with it, sir. Give me your thoughts.
Yo, just to let the audience know, I just went to go see The Beekeeper yesterday on Sunday at its premiere. Met a lot of people, especially, you know what? I'm not even going to bring those people up. I'm just going to talk about the film. The film itself has a great storyline. It focused on how we got spam people that's trying to collect people, especially elderly's information, and take advantage of the elderly and steal their information. So you have the character Jason Statham, who's a retired mercenary / assassin who is under the umbrella of this organization called the Beekeepers. It's like a worldwide organization. So while in retirement, he befriended a lady that's elderly that, that does a lot of things, charity works and everything. That's played by, what's her name? The one from the Cosbys.
Well, yes, Felicia Rashad's in this movie.
Yes. Sorry, forgive me. But something happened. He goes into a reactive state without authorization and start taking matters into his own hands. And I'm not going to put too much details in it, but it's a good story. Think of...
This feels like John Wick. Just replace dog with, old lady.
Something like that, but more modernized. Not...
It's more like when Mark Rover took on those telemarketers, but instead of like with a glitter bomb, he's pretty much using AKs.
Yeah. But overall, it's good story, good fight sequence. Oh my God. It has its gory moments with some of the fight scenes. It has its gory moments with some of the action. But the story, it relates to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the care for the elderly. So pretty much I will recommend this film to be seen, because this film, I will say, you will watch this again.
Mm-hmm.
Not just a one-time thing. You'll watch it just to get a clear understanding of what's going on. And I can't wait. It's not a spoiler. I just want a sequel.
Okay.
Either a sequel or a prequel.
Now, is there a mid or end credit scene?
No.
Wow. That's a thing now.
It's enough information in this film that it didn't need it. And big ups to the director, David Ayer. David Ayer. He was
the first Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah, the first Suicide Squad movie, because I did made an error and say the Suicide Squad. It's supposed to be the Suicide See, I keep doing it again.
No. For David Ayer, you just want Suicide Squad. If you
Yes,
then you're talking about James Gunn.
Right. It's Suicide.
You're talking Suicide Squad with Will Smith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Fury.
Mm.
So he did a heck of a job with the directing. It was really well done. He did get stung by a bee.
Not the bees. Not the bees.
The director did mention he got stung by a bee or bees. But overall, I say these people did a phenomenal job. Jason Statham, just from coming from Expendables 4, which was a total trash.
Yes.
Thumbs down.
On several levels, it was bad.
See?
Yeah, I do have to say the cast of this movie looks pretty interesting. You've got Jason Statham, you've got Emmy Raver Lapman from the Umbrella Academy, you've got Josh Hutcherson, fresh off of Five Nights at Freddy's fame, Jeremy Irons, some gravitas, Felicia Rashad, Minnie Driver. Scott, you'll like this. Gemma Redgrave, Kate Lethbridge Stewart from Doctor Who. She's in this. It looks like a suitable cast. It's just try to sell me on this day because we've seen some things from hey Mwamba, thanks for coming back. Happy New Year to you.
New Year.
We've seen some things from Jason Statham that basically, if it's not like a Fast and Furious movie, it's not exactly the best. So what's making this stand out for you more so than say other Jason Statham movies?
I would say more of the story and how it relevates through, of the times how scammers are taking advantage of not just modern day people, but also around the elderly. So the story has like a vengeance / empathy type mentality with this film that made sense, that basically goes dear to certain people's hearts when it comes to their family members and trying to monitor and make sure they don't be taken advantage of.
So it gives you a reason to care.
Correct.
All right, that's fair.
And more in the action sense.
Well, I mean, yeah, action, like a lot of action doesn't necessarily denote that it's going to be popular. We saw that last month with Silent Night.
Did anybody do a review on that?
Did not.
No, actually, we never got to it. We are bad people.
Did anybody? Nobody saw it, right?
Silent Night.
Yeah.
It was in theaters around me for like a week, and then it was gone. Like, I didn't even get the chance.
By the way, hi guys. I haven't seen you all year long.
Happy New Year, Rob.
By the way, I just want to show something real quick that I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but believe it or not, Jason Statham used to be a diver.
Yeah.
I don't know if people realize that he was a damn good one too.
You should post that on our YouTube. Or did you?
No, I never did. Actually, I probably could though.
Yeah.
Make
it. 4 Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels because look at how much hair he has.
I know the hair. I mean, but he has a good swimmer's physique. It kind of reminds you a little bit of Buster Crabbe before he went to Flash Gordon. But
okay, I see.
Let's consider.
But yeah, I think Beekeeper will be cash, even though I'm gonna wait until it comes out on streaming. But it does look good. I know you've already seen it, so obviously, but that's why I said in the chat.
He's allowed to have an opinion on that one. He's allowed to have an opinion there.
Yeah.
Well, it's why it's good to have a.
The budget on this that I'm coming back with is a very moderate $40 million.
That's why I said it's going to be cash.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be as cash as a lot of the other films are going to be. We're fresh off the holiday right now. I think with the NFL playoffs happening, your demographic is going to be focusing a little bit more attention on this weekend. I mean, there's 5 playoff games in the docket this weekend. So I think people are going to be a little more focused in that arena. I think with Christmas being the way it is, people being necessarily broke, they might just wait for it on streaming, which will probably be about 12 hours from now. I will say cash, but I don't think it's going to crush.
Yeah. I will say I do think this movie's going to be cashed just because of the cast. I mean, you got Josh that was just in the Five Nights at Freddy, so you might have some fans from that go see it just to support him. Jason Statham, he was in Meg 2, that killed box office. I mean,
which one are you talking about? Meg 1 or 2?
Meg 2 killed box office.
Yeah, but it was
that was more so overseas rather than domestic.
Still counts.
It still killed it.
Yeah.
But I just want to say congratulations to Wonka hitting 11. It made 11th place now.
Well, that's the thing I want to bring up, because if you look at box office now, January, look, for as much as we may have things in January that happen before we get into
we're crushing January right now, by the way.
January is still like the no man's land when it comes to movies. All right, this is where some things are put out before it gets released.
Yeah.
So,
because
the way the movie theaters going nowadays, it's going to be questionable whether or not some of these things are even going to make cash, just because
there
may not be
on this list that are not going to make money
so soon after the holidays. And even though it's at $40 million, which is a modest budget, you have to understand. Just last week, this past weekend, the first weekend of 2024, Wonka was still in first place with 14 million.
67 altogether.
Wonka's at 467.
No, I'm saying it made 14 million this weekend.
I'm saying it
first place.
I thought it was okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong, because last weekend it was at 398, wasn't it? And then this weekend it's at 467 now.
467 is what I have right now. Yes.
So that means it would have had. Okay.
There's not that much flux going into the theaters at the moment.
No.
Yeah.
So you have to really grade everything on a scale. You have to hope, okay, a lot of these things may not make budget, but that's just because the audience isn't clamoring to go out, period. Especially when we're talking winter months, especially when we're talking snowstorms that we're finally getting.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit harder.
By the way, do you know what the Marvels is currently at without looking it up?
That's probably like
80. Which is not great.
Rank 98.
I mean box office. Well, actually, rank.
Rank's got to be at least 70, or maybe
it's 27th this year, but that doesn't mean anything.
No.
But I mean, the box office right now is 205 million.
Yeah, that was trash.
That was the worst MCU ever on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask this question. Do y'all blame the actress Brie Larson on this, or do you blame Disney?
Well, I blame Disney.
Oh, Disney.
100% Disney. Because in this case, basically, your mistake was several-fold. You have a lead character in a TV show on Disney Plus that nobody watched with Ms. Marvel. You had a Monica Rambeau character that required you to watch another series you barely recognized who that character was. And then you had Brie Larson, who honestly was not that popular to begin with, being relegated in her own sequel. I mean, in this case here, the actors did what they could with the script that they've got.
Right.
But the reality is you have three characters there that are just honestly just mid at best. And when you go up against everything else, it's like people aren't going to be really that down for it, especially because it's going to be available so quickly, and it already is.
The only good thing about that movie is the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Which here's the other part of it. I got a story I'm working on right now about part of the problem with this. The end credit scene for that, the end credit scene for Flash. People are like, you got to check out the end credit scene. Okay, let me go on YouTube and watch it. 24 hours later, that clip on Flash where George Clooney showed up was on YouTube already. Granted, it was a hand cam kind of a setup or cell phone, but you don't have to go to the theater to see it. You can read the entire storyline on Wikipedia, get every spoiler. You can see all the best scenes from everything on YouTube or Yarn or any of these places already. And you can just honestly save the money and save the $20.
Right.
The only good thing would have been about that movie. Am I echoing? The only good thing I would have went to see that movie is if I would have went first opening day when you had a crowd, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had a crowded theater, that would have been good with that post-credit scene because of the reaction. I like stuff like that. Like when I went and saw the Five Nights at Freddy, I don't know anything really about the franchise, but people were freaking out in the theaters with all the different cameos
You get caught
or
up in the moment.
references. People were freaking out.
But see, here's the thing: if you're going to have that kind of a moment, I don't think you're ever going to have a better moment than you would with Spider-Man: No Way Home. First,
You're right.
Andrew Garfield, then Tobey Maguire. The way they handled that was perfect, and I've watched the videos from around the world of people's reaction to those scenes, and it didn't matter if it was France, U.S., Asia, they went nuts to see these guys again. You know, you can't match that kind of experience that way.
Right.
The only thing that may match it is if they do Secret Wars right.
Which they will not. They are not going to do that right.
I don't know. We'll see.
The way they did Secret Invasion, you know, Jonathan Majors is basically no longer part of it. They're trying to go in a different direction, possibly
But
involving.
that's got nothing to do with Secret Wars.
They were building Jonathan Majors to be the big baddie for Phase 5.
Yeah, he was.
That was for King Dynasty, but not for Secret Wars. Secret Wars will be with Doom and stuff. And we're supposed to be having.
Dude, it's not going to work. Nobody cares. The problem, I realize this is the other problem. Captain America was on TV. I had it on before. And when you look at the original franchise of like Marvel Phase 1, you had Iron Man, you had Hulk, you had, you know, Thor, you had Captain America. You had people that even the average non-comic book goer person was familiar with. They might not know a lot, but you know, you ask any random person if they know who Captain America is. Sure, they do. You know, and then after a while, you burn through those, and you burn through like Guardians of the Galaxy, but you're still riding on it. Now you're going into these things with all of these characters and groups, you know, that nobody heard about. I never heard about. They never sold comics, you know, in the comic book industry as well. You know, these, you know, Shang-Chi never sold in comic books. And it did really, honestly, very badly. You know, so you can't draw to the box office if there's not familiarity there. You know, so they don't have anything brand new to bring out and be like, dude, here's a character. Honestly, they shot their wad too early with too many characters people recognize.
Well, if they do Secret Wars right, the way they're supposed to be bringing back different actors to play different characters, I think it'll be a success. But
no,
we'll see.
We'll
see. I'm calling on the podcast right now.
It's not a bad idea to do that. It's not a bad idea to do that. But if the reality is it's not going to be enough because the member berries aren't going to be strong enough.
Correct.
Let's see how Deadpool 3 does.
All this being said, when they've only got one movie coming out in 2024, which is Deadpool 3.
Which is good.
Nintendo
and tomorrow they're releasing a 5-episode drop of Echo, which I am personally looking forward to. It looks like it's going to be akin to the Netflix series, possibly the bloodiest thing Disney Plus has had since Mickey's A Christmas Carol. So I am really looking forward to it.
What did you say? Echo?
Echo. From the bigger story and try to right the ship with some more adult-oriented content. Try to bring the long-standing 10-year fans in a little bit more with something more mature.
Dude, they're lump dumping Echo. And that's not usually a good sign if they're lump dumping the episodes.
Yeah, but when it's only going to be 5 episodes and you don't necessarily want to drag something out, I'm not too upset by it because...
No, you can just watch it and be done with it.
That hurts Netflix, and they do it all the time with much more episodes.
Yeah.
By the way, Netflix is under a little bit of fire too, believe it or not.
Could be installing that's not animated.
Because actually, what turns out, Netflix is under a little bit of fire because the new season of Pokemon is going to Netflix a full year after it was released in Japan. So we have the new character who's not Ash now. We have the girl. It has been running in Japan for an entire year and still has not come out in the States yet, not until next month. So the fans have been waiting.
Netflix is also supposed to be running the new season of One Piece with Egghead Island.
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to be running concurrent with the premieres in Japan. So they're supposed to be getting it like same day or next day.
That's a smart move there, but like I said, the problem with Pokemon is that you can't have that long of a wait.
For Netflix, maybe Pokemon isn't the biggest deal for them.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is for the fan base. It can be.
But it's supposed to be. Let me get one thing straight, Ryan. It's supposed to be a big deal because that's member berries, and on the fact that
it's not really member berries. The Ash isn't even around anymore.
Yeah.
At this point, even Pokemon's losing steam in Japan.
I thought Ash is supposed to be in the new season as a mentor.
He might make cameos, but no, centers on the new kid.
He's not a main character anymore.
They released Pokemon Concierge, which looks very pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's some girl and some new boy. So
yeah.
All right.
And an intro that kind of sucked ass. Not gonna lie. Anyway.
It is cool to see we speak of One Piece, the live action cast, almost 4 of the 5 main characters are going to Megaton. That's cool.
But all right, now
Cash and Trash.
Yeah. So okay, we have this now.
And just to let everybody know, the premiere is right now because I have friends that's over there watching it, and they were already set up at the Lincoln Theater. So
I was gonna say I already have. I saw people I know have already seen it, so they must have did a premiere.
They did have some early screenings of it, much like.
My question to this is: do we know at all? Will there be any references or cameos to the original cast of Mean Girls, or is this a complete reboot? Do we know?
Tim Meadows is the only one coming back.
No, Tina Fey's in it too.
Well, yeah, but I'm okay. Well, I mean, this is Tina Fey. Here's the thing: this is Tina Fey and Robert Carlock, which, if to give you some idea, they did 30 Rock, they did Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and they also did Girls 5 Eva on Peacock, all of which were honestly comedy gold and fantastic, in many, many different ways. Especially, more importantly, Kimmy Schmidt, because I had a line in that one. Thank you very much on that Netflix. And I got to listen to Titus Andronicus sit there and sing Freebird for like 17 hours. This, however, I don't think is going to do well.
What's the budget?
I can't find it, and I don't think it's going to matter.
See, I would have to dispute that. I feel like this has the same potential that Wonka did, in a sense. Now, I know when Color Purple came out, we were thinking, that could be cash, just because on the basis of it being a musical around the holiday season. The problem with that not doing so well is because we already had a musical around the holiday season, and that was Wonka.
Yeah,
and that was a lot more.
And Color Purple, don't forget that one.
No,
and it wasn't necessarily as mixed messagey as say something like The Color Purple being a musical, which if anyone's ever seen The Color Purple from the 80s, not exactly the kind of movie you would expect there to be a musical about.
Correct.
Spielberg got onto board, and I mean, it's fine from a technical aspect. I just don't know if a lot of people would see that story and be like, oh yeah, this is something I want to sing to.
Yeah, what is it?
Wasn't it based on the musical?
Yes, they did make a musical on The Color Purple, just like they made the Broadway musical about Mean Girls.
Right.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is, wasn't the movie Color
a little bit more popularity simply based upon the popularity of the movie? And the fact that we still have people today that say, on Wednesdays we wear pink or something like that. It's like there is still enough of this, especially in the Instagram, TikTok era, where people reference, people quote, people enjoy this movie. Maybe not so much the sequels, but definitely the original with Rachel McAdams and Lindsay Lohan.
Prior to dating Wilbur Valderrama.
And I would say, the cast on this looks good. Look, anytime you got Samara Weaving in a movie, I'm happy for it because I like her. So the fact that she's going ahead with this, I give a little bit more credit. The fact that it definitely looks a little bit more poppy and a little bit more colorful, it does kind of buy into that Taylor Swift, Barbie audience. I could definitely see those people coming out to the theaters to watch something like this. Will it be as big as those? No way. But I can definitely see more people going to this than, say, other things that will probably be coming out this month.
Right.
Which my theater doesn't have anything coming out but this.
Really?
Yeah, I checked.
You're kind of stuck over there, man.
Because I don't even. I could be wrong. Did you say Beekeeper's already out in theaters? Correct.
No, Friday officially.
Friday.
Then I don't even. I'll have to recheck after this live to confirm, but I don't even think my theater's getting Beekeeper. But I could be wrong. But I don't know. We'll see.
Now, this, by the way, the only thing I have on here is that this is tracking for 50 to 105 million domestic.
Okay.
20 million opening weekend.
That's not bad.
But the question is, what is the... Well, what...
Yeah.
Too bad
Now,
we can't
here's
find
what
the
I will
budget.
say. This is something
Wait.
Let me say this. This is actually pretty important on this. Carlock and Faye have a tendency to bring the same crew back for every project that they do. So these people have literally almost 2 decades of familiarity with each other, in every aspect. That is going to bring your budget down because everybody knows everybody else. They have a system in place. All they're doing is just shooting something different. It was, 7 seasons of 7 seasons of 30 Rock, 4 seasons of Kimmy Schmidt, 3 seasons of Girls 5 Eva, and now this. So you look at that, that is 15 years worth of connections right there with the same crew. So that is going to bring your budget down hardcore and save a lot of time on the back end. But it is a movie, though. So I don't know. I got to stick to trash on this, even without knowing the budget, because I just don't think it's enough of a pull.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I thought Samara Weaving was playing the mom. Apparently, that's Busy Phillips.
All right, because of the relevance back in the day when Mean Girls was really relevant and it was really good at its basis, I think this year I will say that the way things are going with them doing remakes and not being original with their stuff, I will say this may be barely cash. And when I say barely, it's gonna barely be cash only in the basis of, a lot of people, a lot of women will definitely go to see this. Some men, because this is like a little bit of nostalgia. But
you're gonna go see it?
No.
I will see this. Absolutely.
No, but let me finish. I really think that society and the way the Western world is right now, we're tired of remakes.
Yes.
We are fed up with remakes, and everybody wants something original. We're tired of you. Oh, we're going to redo this, but we're going to have our own spin to it. No, we're tired of it. Stop remaking stuff.
One thing I should mention also, and this is something, and Rob, I'll give it to you in a sec, is even though I did mention the fact that the crew is going to drive the budget down, what's going to drive the budget back up is the fact that it's a musical.
Right.
I have been through musicals before. I know how long these things take. Greatest Showman is a great example of the amount of time that it takes to do a musical. But also, I've sat through some other ones there, and boy, it is a lot of work, especially when there's choreography involved. I think that's really going to be tough on that.
Wait, this is a musical?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, Japanese Spider-Man, damn it.
This is the first time I see Rob face like just silent.
No, I didn't know this was a musical, but
there are very, 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 very few original ideas out there in Hollywood. Like no matter how many scripts,
the original ideas are on YouTube and TikTok now.
Yeah,
some spin on some other story.
The original ideas are on YouTube and TikTok. With the Hollywood industry, it's about package and drop for the quick buck to keep your stock prices up as you're fighting every other streaming service doing the same thing.
And Walker was definitely different.
But
compared, I wouldn't say it. It was, like I said, I saw it. It was really good. And the box office is showing it. Now I didn't know Mean Girls was going to be a reboot, or not reboot. Sorry, musical.
This
but
you
like said
a reinvention.
But hold on, you said original cast members are coming back, correct? So therefore,
wouldn't it
be a sequel in a way, same universe, or are they playing different characters? Like when they did the remake of what was it? She's the Man, and then they did He's the Man, and they brought back the original actress, but she played a different character.
I think Tim Meadows was playing the same character from last time.
I didn't even know there was a.
So it can't be a reboot if they're bringing back original characters and they're playing the same, correct?
It's what they call a requel. A requel is a reboot sequel.
Okay.
Right, but it's only a requel if they're actually continuing the story of what was originally done in the first one, not necessarily retelling the story, but with a different spin on it.
So how would you view all 87 American Pie movies? Because they all had Eugene Levy in every single one of them.
That's all continuation.
Mm.
It's just sometimes you had the original 4 guys and sometimes you didn't. But Eugene Levy, he kept the brand strong.
Dude,
With
there were more of those than there were for Home Alone movies.
You know, do you realize how many sequels had like a different Stifler kid?
Dude,
You know how many Stiflers there were?
Well, you know, given the Stiflers themselves, I'm not surprised that they bred so much.
I think this will be cash because of the fact that this seems like more of a movie that, if have enough advertisement, which I've already seen the advertisement on TikTok, this is a more of a TikTok vibe movie, because it's more of today's generation, obviously. So you're bringing a whole new generation, and like you said, you're bringing a couple casts. Now, with it being a musical, I don't 100% know if everybody's going to want to go see a musical, but I'm just going to say cash.
It was originally supposed to go to Peacock and then got moved to theater. So clearly something in Tina Fey and Robert Carlock, and they are extremely smart. So maybe they do see something. I'm going to still stick to trash on this, but I can see Dave's perspective where if the budget's 50 and they make 101 million, it qualifies as cash, technically.
Yeah.
They don't even need to make it necessarily in the first week. If that was the thing is, you have like at least 3 or 4 movies coming out this weekend. As long as it makes number 1 this weekend, it'll have legs for the rest of the month.
So do you think it's going to be cash, Ryan?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, Ryan's seeing it. So
all right. So we have three cashes in the trash.
Hell, no, it's 2024. Anything can happen. Hell.
All right. So just to be clear, we have 3 cashes and a trash. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What did we have for Beekeeper?
Cash.
Yeah, I'll say cash on that because as long as it's the budget.
I'm gonna say trash.
All right, so 3 and 1. Because this time around, basically, because Rob had mentioned this, and he's right. We have to take notes of actually what we put down on these things because we didn't last time. We have to keep score for bragging rights and also pull back to it because 3 months, 6 months from now, we're like, what do we say about this movie? And all of it's like,
right. And it happened with me. When
that's why I was asking Scott if we had records of who did cash and trash. So that way, at the end of the year, you do know.
I was going to say Space Jam 2 for that one.
Make up another spread.
If we're talking about how many sponsorships can we fit, let's talk about Wreck-It Ralph too. That was a good movie.
Cash Grab
was really good.
I like the second one.
The second one wasn't bad. I like it, but I really preferred the first one over the
it confirmed that she was a Disney princess.
Technically, she is.
It was confirmed.
But this is my issue with production companies now, or higher management, or the higher up hierarchies. I really feel as though there's no originality. And right now, you having independent filmmakers
already working on it,
making films that are way better than what should be in theaters. I'm serious. Like there's films that independent filmmakers are doing that should be in theaters, and actors that should be in the big screen. Besides recycling the same actors, but I'm not the hierarchy.
Well, we are getting that with one franchise that took forever to finally get where they're getting, but they have a lot of popularity, and we've interviewed them on the channel, and that's Terrifier. Terrifier 3 will be going to theaters.
It's a Christmas movie. Da-da-da-da.
But that's a good thing because that means somebody actually decided to pull the trigger with them.
Yeah.
Like Swim. What's the other film that came out recently? Swim something.
Night Swim or something?
Night Swim.
I didn't get it at my theater, so I don't know.
That's another film that was an original film.
Well, depends on who you talk to. People dying in a pool isn't exactly the most original thing in the world.
No, but it's something that we never saw in theaters, like a horror film that you did not expect.
What about Jaws? No, I'm just kidding.
Now, mind you, Night Swim did debut at number 2 this weekend.
So that's a good thing. It's telling you something. Like it's telling people that independent films, because Night Swim is an independent film. Am I correct?
Yes, but it's also a horror.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It's another entity altogether.
But do it matter? Long as it's independent. Because
here's the thing. I mean, honestly, I think Hollywood's going to realize this pretty soon, that bigger, as far as budget goes, does not always guarantee better.
right.
You know, part of the reason why I think Hollywood is struggling right now is because they're putting out so much cash on this that they can't make it up. It doesn't matter how good the movie is. I mean, Indiana Jones, Marvel, they were destined to fail because these budgets were so through the roof. But then you have something that comes in at a very manageable budget and it crushes, you know, and this is where Hollywood, I think, is going to have to realize they're going to have to go back to it, that a smarter story is going to be the key on this.
Exactly.
You know, you look at certain things, like I said, YouTube, TikTok, you look at the quality of content on there. And, you know, I mean, Ryan, you and I were talking about this the other day. Right now on YouTube, there are 31 million active YouTube channels, 58 million overall, 31 million active channels. So you think about the channel selection you have to watch what you want to watch. And all of this stuff is low budget free stuff. That's why YouTube is so popular. And sometimes, I mean, I'm watching right now a fan video or a fan animation for Dragon Ball called Deliverance. It is spectacular. The animation is better than GT. And it's just some dude who just busted his ass for years. And it's absolutely glorious. I watched a video the other day. It was the final fight from the end of Revenge of the Sith between Obi-Wan and Anakin, but it was animated like it was Clone Wars. And this dude spent 4 years doing this, and it is beautiful to watch, you know. And that's the advantage there. People would rather watch something like that from their couch, from their phone, you know, than pay $20 to see some kind of unknown film that may or may not be surrounded by a bunch of people, you know, spitting and shitting and swearing and grunting and, you know, effing and whatever, you know, and ruining your experience.
Like go to Amazon, where Has Been Hotel's going to be premiering finally.
Dude,
Or like
Amazon's got boxing now. There's live tennis apparently is going to.
Amazon might get WWE Monday Night Raw.
I've heard that. Rich Mancuso had posted something about that too.
Yeah, so I mean, the minute when you give the streamers carte blanche to take in all the good stuff, it's hard to see what's really going to be left that are going to be people bringing into theater.
I don't. I don't usually go to see movies. So wait for it to come out on something.
But I will say this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm being real, like, I'm sorry. It's just the fact that all the potential in the world, Hollywood has this thing, like Scott said, like, oh, spend a bunch of money, make it flashy, special effects, da.
Michael Bay the hell out of it, yes.
Exactly. But
which you met, right, Dave?
Yeah, but at the same time, like all jokes aside, like the industry is really going downhill now.
You look at what Godzilla -1 did at what, 17 million at the box office?
My theater hasn't even gotten it.
Yeah, but your theater is still showing Pong. You know, basically in the arcade there.
What? What's my theater showing?
You still have an arcade game of Pong over at yours, right?
Oh, whatever.
You know.
But yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, but movies now don't need America as much as they used to back then. If you can have something hit overseas, you're golden.
One Piece, the manga for One Piece actually is outselling the entire comic book industry right now in the United States.
Well, because is it because the show has made the are we talking? Is it a new season of? Oh
no, we're not. I'm talking the manga.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's the manga for like the continuation. Or are you talking about the manga like from, let's say, book 1? Is
the manga across 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
one franchise is doing better than the entire DC Marvel comic industry.
Well, yeah, because you have to understand, it's definitely going to be something to get into if you're willing to make the investment. People
directors are no longer hired; they're cast at this point. We may get to that one later.
Speaking as someone who took like 6 months of watching it more nonstop than anything else I had ever watched in my life, more so than Simpsons. It took me 6 months to get from East Blue up to date to now. Watching that last year, I can only imagine what it's been like for people actually having to read like a whole stack of manga.
But what does that say about, like I said, the comic industry as a whole? When I'm not talking Dragon Ball, Naruto, Demon Slayer, or any of the other ones out there. One Piece, one comic, one manga is outdoing all of DC and Marvel right now.
That's because there's really no good stories going on right now in the both Marvel and DC.
But
No.
I mean, how many franchises versus one? Dude,
All right.
I mean, you know,
I'm gonna say this. Pretty much, are we talking about these live action adaptations, or we just
No,
the actual Japanese manga?
the manga.
The book.
The book
Okay.
is selling
Anything
more than
else?
any comic books in Marvel and DC is
I
what
feel
he's
like
saying.
this is my fault. I feel like we're going off track.
When it comes to like anime and all that stuff, that is all promotion for people to go get the manga.
Mhm.
That's why animes sometimes only go 12 or 24 episodes. They don't tell the whole story because they want you to get the manga that has everything plus the story.
Or the manga is basically generic to the light novel.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
I read a really good manga that just stopped and it's like, okay, go read it in the light novel. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, something like One Piece that's actually adapting the entire series thus far
Yeah.
is unheard of.
You know, Hajime no Ippo, which is now 25 years, I think, at this point in the manga, you know, as at 1,400 something chapters at this point, you know, spanning, I think, about 10 years of his boxing career. And it's still rolling. You
Right.
know,
And how many episodes of the anime is there? Probably like 12.
there was about 150, I think, overall.
Okay, 150. That's sizable.
Yeah,
That's nice.
across 3 total series, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
But again, the only reason they will ever make an anime, for the most part, 2 reasons. 1, to sell more manga,
mhm.
or 2, pretty much because the manga's over and it's like, well, now we can just go ahead and try to sell it to the Americans or other people and try to like market it to a larger audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I will say,
good.
I was gonna say I will say my favorite manga is Deadpool Samurai. And if you haven't seen that or read that book, it's really good. And it's got All Might makes an appearance and teams up with Deadpool to kill Thanos.
でも本当にそれは漫画ですか？アメリカ人の漫画？
大変人がのは
It's called Deadpool Samurai.
でもアメリカ人の漫画 or 日本人の漫画? Is it Japanese manga or American manga?
American manga. Are you?
Yeah, she got yo. So
I
don't know who it's made by. I just know that I own it, and All Might makes an appearance and teams up with Deadpool to beat Thanos. It's the greatest
see, that's
thing.
got, like I said, this is more of an Americanized manga. I mean, not to say it's a bad thing by any stretch.
Yeah.
But,
I just thought it was cool because All Might makes an appearance. That's the only reason why I like it.
But
Okay. So all that aside,
or sorry, Volume 2. It wasn't Volume 1, but anyways.
as you said, all that aside.
Do we have another movie?
Oh, we have 2 more. We haven't gotten to 2 yet.
Yeah.
you all be sidetracking.
Yeah, I blame myself or France. All right, so we have ISS.
What is that? I have no idea what that is.
My theater's not getting that.
Dude, like I said, your theater doesn't get shit.
Hey, we got the Taylor Swift movie. We got the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
We got every other popular movie we've got, and we don't get non-popular stuff.
I hear you're getting Titanic pretty soon too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We probably
The
even got
original
the,
cut.
we
Yeah,
probably even got the Lord of the
10 years
Rings that
ago.
rebooted.
So okay, we have basically a movie called ISS. This is centers around a group of astronauts and cosmonauts living around the International Space Station. Tensions flare as a worldwide conflict breaks out on Earth. Reeling from this, the astronauts receive orders from the ground: take control of the situation by any means necessary. I have no budget.
Ariana DeBose. I know.
Yeah, you know this is an unknown here because there's no real budget on this. I'm gonna go ahead just out on a limb just for funsies. I'm gonna say cash on this.
Just
Okay, wait. Why cash on this?
For funsies. That's what he
What's
said.
that?
I'm gonna say.
But what's
trash.
starting those funsies?
Just the fact that basically it'll be enough of a thriller at space, and because I don't know squat about it, then I'm just gonna say just for the hell of it.
Who's in it? Anybody good?
Names I don't recognize really.
Oh, then I'm gonna say trash.
Ariana DeBose, Chris Messina, Pilu Asbach, John Gallagher, Costa Ronin, and Maria Mashkova.
I'm gonna say trash.
Peter Rosbeck. He looks like he's the main Russian. But yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like you're not really necessarily watching it for the star power. You're watching it for like the sci-fi intrigue, which unfortunately this is more science fiction, and it's basically just like a Cold War happening in space.
By the way, just to go off track
Titanic
again,
2 iceberg this. Kyle.
Oh, funny you say the Passion 2 press.
Wait, what? Why are we showing Titanic? What the heck?
Oh my
Titanic 666.
Okay. Do I have to close my laptop?
Yeah.
Sorry, not on my Christian Minecraft server.
So, all right, but like I said, in this case, I don't know. I'm just gonna say cash because why the hell not?
Trash.
Trash.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm gonna say
Fact
I
that
think
my
it's
theater's not getting it.
lost in the read there. Plus, it doesn't help that your main star is coming off of possibly the worst animated Disney movie of the last decade.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Ariana DeBose is the voice of
Oh yeah.
main star of Wish.
Oh, my love and my life.
But Wish hasn't even came out, has it?
So her star meter isn't exactly great at the moment.
Did Wish even come out?
If you have to ask, then you answered your own question.
So it hasn't came out.
No, it came out.
There was a short. There basically it was released in a couple film festivals about 6 months back.
But is it on Disney Plus?
No.
No.
Then
Wish
why-
came out back in November. Nobody liked it. Nobody saw it.
Oh.
Okay.
This thing comes out on the 19th, which will be after 3 much more prominent movies are going to be releasing the week before. That alone, it doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't seem like it's going to be anything that's going to knock.
I have a budget here of 22.4 million. So 45 would be enough to cover it. I'm gonna double down on my cash.
Double down.
Everybody looking at me. I told y'all I really think it's going to be trash because it's not that much advertisement about it.
Okay.
I'm saying trash.
All right.
Is there a way to tell how many theaters will get a movie?
You sometimes can find that out.
Because I'm not. I mean, there's been movies at my theaters that I couldn't go see, but we do get a lot of good movies here, and I know that's one of the movies we're not getting. My question is, where is this being advertised? Is the better question.
Released theatrically January 19th.
I've seen it on YouTube, but that's about it. I don't think it's getting any kind of like big push on anything.
So is this like the Apollo movie? Like, didn't we get like some kind of like sci-fi Apollo 13 or whatever?
Basically the same kind of thing, yeah.
Okay.
Fast and Furious. Oh God. Yeah.
There was a while back. It was funny. There was a theory because they're gonna make the new Fast and Furious into 3 movies. To the third one to have a crossover between Vin Diesel and Triple X.
If they do that,
they already did that with Triple X.
Huh?
they did.
Yeah, with the third Triple X movie where they brought back Vin Diesel and they already had Ice Cube come in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, they were like saying like where Dom
Yeah.
fights Triple X.
Well, unless they get Ice Cube into Fast and Furious, which I might be intrigued by, but that's only if he goes, fist to fist with Ludacris.
They'll bring back Chris Tucker and Ice Cube. By the way, Rob, did you say cash or trash for this?
No.
I'm saying trash.
Yeah,
I understand it has a low budget, which is nice, but that's why I wanted to know where it was being, how many theaters it's going to be in, because that can make a big difference too.
Yeah, I'm going to be the lone wolf on this one. I'm going to go, that it'll actually be okay.
If it goes international, then it probably will be cash, just for the simple fact that, things do better in international.
Right.
But do we know for sure if this is going internationally or not?
Keep my wife's name. Well, but like I said, you can't welch here. It's got to be cash. You got to be trash. You got to pick a lane.
Pick a side, Rob.
Pick a lane.
Day and Ryan both said trash, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Only person that said cash was me.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Okay. I'm going to say this too much. Only reason I'm saying trash is because there hasn't really been no advertisement about this film.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Because I never seen the trailer. And when I looked at it a little bit, I'm like, it's like, what? Okay, it's a sci-fi film, space astronauts, whatever. Not to talk bad about the project, it's just the fact that the advertisement is horrible. So when you do bad with the advertisement, how you expect people to come see it? Based off of looks?
Not to mention the simple fact that it's U.S. versus Russia.
Mm.
Two countries that the world at large don't exactly have the greatest opinion on. So I
You know
don't
what?
really
Now
if
that I
a lot
know
of
it's
people
only
care
22
about it.
million, I'll say cash.
Okay.
Put me down as cash because I have a feeling that international will help it.
It could, especially basically if it's released in Russia.
Right.
So
that would take it. All right. One more. Now in this case here, there we go. All right, so we got one more here at this point. Book of Clarence,
This
which
is going to
is
be hard for me.
a comedy centering around the life and the end of life of Jesus Christ, and someone trying to cash in on the opportunity. In this case, Clarence. It's got a little bit of a hint of a like Life of Brian sort of a feel to it, I would think, in this particular case. The budget for this is $120 million. So, can this movie make 240 and become cash?
all right, you said it's a comedy, so is this would not be considered a Christian movie, correct? Or would it be?
No, it is a Christian movie starring pretty much all black cast with the exception of two people.
Let me rephrase. Is this a parody? That's what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, I would call it that.
Yeah.
Is it mocking?
Yeah.
Is it going to be mocking Jesus?
Probably.
No. From what I heard, it's not mocking. It's pretty much telling the story of a person that, yes, Jesus is around in this time, but he's trying to. Another person is taking the place. Somebody else is taking the place, trying to basically be so-called the Messiah as well.
Yeah.
Well, if I may, from IMDb, it says, struggling to find a better life, Clarence is captivated by the power of the rising Messiah and soon risks everything to carve a path to a divine existence.
So technically, it's not mocking. It's just basically somebody is trying to follow in the footsteps of an actual person in this universe.
So they're following under Jesus' steps, or no?
I would say it seems like literally, yeah. It's someone trying to be like, oh, well, hey, I'm the Messiah. You know, let's give money to the poor and stuff. You know, and I think based upon the trailers, it's kind of like showing how like the whole idea of Jesus Christ and the Messiah and the miracles can kind of be like a scam.
Ooh.
It's
to see Rob's response on that word. A Jesus reboot. A Jesus boot.
The thing is, obviously, it's going to be touchy subject material, much in the same way as like Kevin Smith's Dogma. You know, it's like it's going to be one of those things where it's going to take stories and what is considered fact via the Bible and really be able to show it could be that, or it could also be like this.
But see, here's the thing. The funny thing about Dogma is that weirdly enough, you walk away with more spirituality after that movie.
Yeah.
Despite the comedic thing and a giant rubber poop monster. You know, because you walk away feeling a little more like connected to your faith, regardless of what the faith is, after you watch that movie. That was the genius of that storyline.
Right.
You know, you see, two angels just trying to go back home. And it's initially not realizing, and then eventually in some cases not caring about the damage it would actually do just to be able to go home after an eternity.
Right.
and you can relate to it a little bit. You know, you relate to Linda Fiorentino's character, her resentment of God, and finally starting to accept. You know, it was a very smartly written film that flew under the radar, considering you had Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, you know, and Alan Rickman in this thing, and Chris Rock. Dude.
And Ming Chen.
Oh, well, yeah. Ming didn't have any lines. He just sat there looking at Selma Hayek while she was stripping.
Yeah.
You know, tough job there, Ming, pal. Real tough job.
When you look at it.
I actually gave Ming a VHS copy of Dogma.
Nice. I got the DVD over here, too.
Oh, that's rare.
But yeah, if you look at this cast, I mean, you've got R.J. Kyler as Elijah. You've got Omar Sy as Barnabas. You've got Nicholas Pinnock playing Jesus Christ. James McAvoy as Pontius Pilate. Alfre Woodard as the Mother Mary. Benedict Cumberbatch as Benjamin. David Oyelowo as John the Baptist. You know, you've got like a lot of people that are going in on something like this. And mind you, Rob, you may hate me for this. I love the idea that Jesus is black. Because I made a film where Jesus was black.
But see, here's my problem with that. Jesus actually was Asian. Because Israel is in Asia.
Geographically, yes. But given the environment of that place, he would be of darker complexion.
I don't know. If you look at all the people in Israel, they're really not that dark.
I'm going to say trash.
They're darker than my one. That's for damn sure. But yeah, Israel is actually in Asia, so technically he's an Asian American.
Yeah.
Rob's saying trash.
He did not. Rob saying trash? Okay.
Rob's saying trash.
I would have suspected as much.
I don't see the appeal for this movie, and I think it being 120 million is too high for this movie, so it would need to make $240 million to break even.
Yeah, that's the part that's sticking with me. I think it's a great concept, and I think it probably would play well if maybe done at a different time of year. But for January and for that kind of budget,
yeah,
it's kind of like they're sending it out to die, and then like in 2 weeks it's going to end up on Amazon anyways.
Yeah, that's where it's going to make
it comes out on Friday also.
And Kyle, I just want to let you know how many times I hear that daily. Hey, if they ever make a reboot of Elf, are you gonna be in it? You know, I hear that daily.
Let's see. Who would you have as Elf in the next one?
Me.
No.
Timothy Chalamet. He's got the curly hair.
Oh,
no, I would.
No, I got a perfect idea.
So do I.
Hey, Rob.
I got one.
How would you feel about Elf being black?
I was going to say that. I was thinking to myself, like Kevin Hart, like Cat Williams, you know.
Yes.
On that note, we should go straight to.
We really should.
Wait, are we ending?
No.
Okay. What is this?
I have no idea. But regarding the book of Clarence, see the timing, like I said, it is kind of tough for 120 million. And this is the most awkward time to basically have a movie in that caliber to basically double your money.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it came out like March or April, it would make more sense.
Yeah.
Don't take this offensive day. It should have came out in February.
Okay.
I'm just saying because they made Jesus
supposed to have been released months ago, but got held back for some reson.
Correct.
So it's supposed to come out around June, but for some reason they pushed it back about 6-7 months.
That would have been funny. that might have worked a little bit.
Oh, I see what you're saying, Rob, but I'm like, they doing the one thing that's coming on my birthday, so it's like that could.
Yes, what movie is that again? By the way, I forget.
The Society.
No. Day. What was that movie that's coming out again by on your birthday?
Don't do this to the man. Come on, he's got enough.
It comes out at the same time that Liam Hemsworth comes out for The Witcher, right?
What's the name of it? What's the name of that movie?
Yeah, I can't remember. And even if I could, I don't think I could say it.
2024 just started. They're roasting you like a pig on a spit.
I know.
Speaking
All
of
right. Here, let's go over here. Let's just let's save a day on this. All right, so we got a cat attack going on, gentlemen.
It's not a cat attack. It's pretty much. I agree with him a lot. What he said on his Shay podcast.
You talk about him and
Cedric,
right?
Let's set up the environment for those people who have been under a rock. So yes, just this past week on Club Shay, which is Shannon Sharp's podcast. Which, if you don't know, Shannon Sharp, he was a commentator on ESPN across from Skip Bayless. Left ESPN, left Skip, tried to do his own thing, which is the podcast we have now.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know this podcast existed.
A lot of
until this episode.
Exactly.
Really? Really, that one?
Yeah, I just thought Skip had a different show on ESPN. I didn't think he had gone completely.
No, Skip. Well, Skip is very interesting in the sports community. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that dude does not need Viagra for his hate boner against LeBron James.
Fair. So Skip has gone ahead and had people on the podcast like Cedric the Entertainer, like Steve Hardy, like Ricky Smiley, comedians of a certain age and demographic.
Mm-hmm.
And this week they had an episode with Cat Williams. Those of you who don't know, Cat Williams, very prominent comedian of the early 2000s. Pretty much the smallest, greatest little pimp you ever seen in your life. And
man, slit that.
Somebody told me today that Cat Williams
Friday series, Pimp Named Slickback. Pretty much anytime you could get the man with like a big fur coat and a cane, he's got you there. He got you.
Mm-hmm.
But he went off.
Yes.
On every single person that Shannon Sharp has had on that show that either mentioned him or tried to claim things that weren't theirs and that were his. And he just it's not so much that he threw fellow comedians under the bus.
Right.
He's basically just driving in his lowrider. And if he happens to open the door and hit one of them, well, that's just what happened.
It was like 2 points. 2 points.
just turn around that big rig and just boom, and then Cedric the Entertainer starts rolling. And the thing about it is, ever since the turmoil of this particular episode, not only is it the largest viewed episode of his podcast, I think 30 million views of this episode just in the last 3 days, I think at one point. But it has brought a lot of people under fire, and they have retaliated as such. You've got Cedric the Entertainer saying stuff. You got Ludacris saying stuff. You've got
Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was called out.
Kevin Hart, he tried with his Plastic Cup Boys. They did nothing. And not a single word of them has actually disputed any of the claims about joke stealing, about hating on other comics, about selling their souls in the industry. This is pretty much just open up the floodgates of black comedy like you would not believe. And the fact that some people are saying he's just doing this to sell more tickets or to get more recognition because no one else talking about it, but no one is discrediting him. If anything, you have other black entertainers sticking up for Cat, proving what he said was true, giving the receipts that he always says he has. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's hard for me personally, simply because I grew up on the original Kings of Comedy. That was one of the first DVDs I ever owned. I love that DVD. I love the whole set.
Ryan,
now I have to question. I look at it. I see what they do with Bernie Mac. I see what they do with D.L. Hughley, which, mind you, of the four of them, D.L. Hughley is the only one I've actually gotten to see live, which was good stuff. But as far as the comedy industry and what you see, how certain black entertainers are treated and what they go through in the industry, it's one of those things where it's like, I can't see the lie in what Cat has said. You rarely ever see an entertainer go on the offensive like that and just throw everything out there to see what sticks. Imagine if, say, George Clooney or Taylor Swift went ahead and did stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a riot throughout the country. But because it's Cat Williams just talking about his peers, it's like it's drawn up some attention, maybe not a lot. And I want more people to get involved in this. Jane, what do you think about the whole thing?
Yo, he was spitting facts about certain people that's just coming out and just claiming that there is, and they're not, like a Kevin Hart or like a Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish is a great actress, don't get me wrong, but as a comedian, have you ever heard a good joke from her?
Ooh.
I'm sorry. And it's not putting her down because there's other female comedians that are way better and don't get
some more.
They don't get the clout that they deserve.
Who now?
Kevin Hart. He is not funny. He reminds me of that annoying uncle that's trying to basically relate to you by trying to hide the fact that he's short. And yes, I could basically go in because I was supposed to go to his premiere tonight, but guess what? Oh well,
you hung out with us instead. Thank you.
Dayveonne ain't bitter. Dayveonne ain't bitter.
I ain't bitter.
Wait, why did you not go to the premiere?
But I put it in and I wasn't invited. So guess what? Oh well, I could say what I feel. Look, what else? Bernie Mac from the Kings of Comedy was the funniest one out of that group. Hands down.
He had the most name recognition. He had the most versatile appeal. He had his face in more media at that time than Steve Harvey, than Cedric, than DL.
Right. And not only that, out of all the people that performed in that film, his two skits overshadowed everybody. The one where he basically is talking about his nephew making fun of the bus driver and the milk and cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and don't forget the multiple uses of Mother Booger.
Mother Booger? Yeah, Mother Booger.
You gotta say it with like that undertone, like he does.
Right.
His way.
But we're gonna skip that. We're gonna skip that. Like I said, those were the two member berries of that film. Everybody else, it was like
the only other thing would have been like Steve Harvey with Oogie in the audience with the jacket.
Let me tell you something. Steve Harvey was never funny. He'll say something for a second and it just go over your head. And you're like,
there's some bits when I watch that guy on Family Feud that I'm like, you're kind of like, dude, can you fast forward a little bit? There was one bit out there where I think in this case, he was told to drag it out for time.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a mildly humorous joke in there. And he laughed nonstop for 2.5 minutes on this thing and just shut down the entire shop. And I remember looking at this, my wife and I were watching it, and we're just like, dude, this ain't that funny. It's like they got to be chatting for time. And after a while, we literally just grabbed the DVR and waited, and we had to keep zip through until they finally got back to the actual questions themselves. Because he just sat there and just kept laughing at his own joke for so long that it just completely like took us out of the moment.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Steve Harvey is great when it comes to like working with a crowd or working with an audience.
Right.
As far as like making jokes from his damn self, it ain't about like 1970s music. He ain't got none.
I think he's at 20 years now, or 19 or 20 years now, Family Feud host.
Right, but the problem with Steve is that Steve was one of those guys. I don't want to say Steve Harvey is a safe bet, but that's why Steve has gotten as much as he has, because he is safe in comparison to other comedians of his generation.
And same thing with Kevin Hart.
The only reason he's on CBS is because he is safe. And someone like Cat Williams or someone like Dave Chappelle, they ain't safe.
Yeah.
They're not safe for broadcast. You know, that's why you had Mark Curry, who went ahead and did his thing as hanging with Mr. Cooper on ABC. But then Steve Harvey did the exact same thing on the WB. Not
Yeah,
even back
I
then.
don't remember Steve Harvey.
No, but
being big.
it's one of those things where it's like you draw the comparisons to like those who made it and what they did to make it versus those who are still like underground favorites or at least still doing the hard work of like working in clubs, doing the stand-up, still making the grind. Some of these people that go ahead and say that they used to be comedians and have not done comedy for like 15, 20 years.
Mhm.
Whereas you see people like Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler started as a stand-up.
Mhm.
Adam Sandler has done movies. He's done SNL. He's
Right.
done music. He's done
He did
everything.
Dog Police.
He will still do a stand-up stage show
Mhm.
for a year when necessary because
Right.
he still has that comedic bone in his body. There are some people that, and I say this as being someone who has done comedy and has been out of the field for quite some time. There are some people who do comedy to get ahead, and there are some comedy people who do it because they are comedians, because that is what they do.
Right.
Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, some of those people, they ain't comics. They're funny, they can be funny, but they're not comics.
Correct.
And for them to go ahead and step on the graves of people like Bernie Mac and the feet of Cat Williams and take their material and use them to heighten themselves without getting the recognition to the people that they got there with, it is damaging.
Right.
It makes it look cutthroat, more cutthroat than it needs to be.
But see, it's not really surprising. Comedians have been stealing content from other comedians for hundreds of years now.
Yeah.
You know, and I do quite literally mean hundreds of years.
If you get called out on it and you can't prove that it's yours.
I mean, George Lopez went through it for a while, I think, wasn't it? Or no, Enrique
Carlos Mencia.
Carlos Mencia. Thank you. You know, I mean, South Park went after him on that. He's still rolling. You know, I mean, I think it's the nature of that beast a little bit, where you swipe something, you tweak it a little bit, you make it yours.
Just like when it comes to being an action star, it's like you got too much cutthroat. Like, remember how much damage Jean-Claude Van Damme did in the 90s with other actors that were action stars?
Yeah, like Dennis Rodman.
And it was like, but even with some of us, we should be in the limelight. Like, we should be in the silver screen. Like, big time, because of our credibility. I'm sorry. I'm putting it out there. Like, all four of us are talented. It's hell. Yeah.
Well, that's why Rob's moving to Atlanta next year.
Is Rob moving to Atlanta next year?
Yeah, that's the goal. Once I'm done with my contract at the hospital, I will be moving to Atlanta to pursue my acting career.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that one. I got some ideas for you that I can help you out.
Never call it Hotlanta. You will get shot.
Yeah.
I didn't say Hot Atlanta.
No, just don't. Just don't.
Not
yeah.
Hotlanta.
Yeah.
Never call it Hotlanta.
Just say Atlanta. Just say Atlanta.
I did say Atlanta.
I know, but no. We're saying don't say it. We just get
And
it.
if you're the only one that does say it, step away about 10 feet.
Exactly.
Also, did you guys hear on the news that the next Transformers movie will not have Peter Cullen? It is now going to be Chris Hemsworth. It's going to be the voice of Optimus Prime.
What is it with the Hemsworth like taking people's jobs? My God.
It's like Chris Pratt taking over all the cartoons too.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Peter Cullen's about 80 years old at this point. He did 7 movies, I think.
Right. No, he's done like all the live action movies.
He's done his bid for King.
It would have been nice if they could have done what they did with James Earl Jones, where basically James sold his voice and they can use it however they want for generations.
Well,
when you're done, I'm making a prediction. Go ahead, Ryan. Then I'm making a prediction that's going to come true.
On what?
No, go ahead. I will tell you a prediction that's going to happen.
I think he was saying you could respond to what.
Yeah, you had something you were going to say first.
Oh, as far as like the whole AI taking over and like dubbing the voice and everything?
Well, I didn't say AI. Don't they have an ability, not exactly AI?
No, but that's how they're going to do it. They're going to record enough of James Earl Jones's voice so that AI can actually come up with like the voice and dialogue of it.
Okay. Kind of like how they're doing the Elvis AI.
And
Yeah, which I am not a fan of, simply due to the fact that when you start doing these things, you are taking opportunities for other actors to give their own spin on the characters.
correct.
That is how you revitalize. That is how you refresh. That is how you bring new talent into the fold, by having these characters and the opportunities to portray them for the future. And when you go ahead and you take something like AI, now I get it. Darth Vader, James Earl Jones, he's done it all his life. Fine.
Same with
There's no
Optimus.
guarantee that there's going to be a lot of stuff done with Darth Vader until they actually decide to reboot the original trilogy of Star Wars.
Now, go ahead.
I would say something like Optimus Prime, which has had multiple iterations, multiple timelines, multiple versions, whether it be terrestrial animation, CGI, things in America, things in Japan. He's voiced it all. To not give someone a new opportunity to voice him when they've already done it before in the past, actually, with the Transformers Animated and some of the other anime versions of Transformers, it seems disingenuous.
The fact is, they're going after the Instagram following too.
I think it's disingenuous to go with a star like Chris Hemsworth and not give it to somebody else that may not be as well known, to give that person more of a shot.
But they're doing
you're absolutely right. It would be better if it actually went for a
Right.
legitimate voice actor as opposed to just
no.
a name.
But see, okay, but this is where Hollywood is still, rolling with this. The reason they went with Hemsworth or Chris Pratt is because they're known entities and they have an Instagram following.
Yeah.
Rob Paulson has like 56,000 followers on Instagram. Chris Pratt has like 12 million. Boom, problem solved. Now, what I will tell you though, and I'm making this prediction right up, is if Chris Hemsworth ends up voicing Optimus Prime, I guarantee there will be fan edits that will AI Peter Cullen's voice into it and upload it to YouTube. Calling it right now. Fans are going to replace Hemsworth's voice with Peter Cullen's original voice. Maybe AI, maybe splicing, I'm not sure. But they're going to take that movie and take his lines and they're going to redub them over. Guarantee it.
Though I would only say that would probably only happen if the job isn't done well.
Oh no, fans are going to do it out of loyalty to Peter Cullen. It has nothing to do with the quality.
Right.
I'm sure it's done well, but I'm saying if the job is done well, I think you'll see less of it simply because
but you'll still see it.
Like some validation to the fact, like, you know what, it wasn't bad.
If he keeps to the way Optimus Prime sounds, then I could see it being a success. But if he does, yes, and I know this is technically a bad example because Mario was the second movie of the year, but you do something like Mario, which I don't think would work with Optimus Prime, if you changed him totally his voice of not sounding like the robot that he does, and let's just say it's a regular accent where you hear Chris Hemsworth, where you just hear his voice, it's not going to work.
Right.
Well, there's a difference between Mario and Optimus Prime, though.
Right.
The thing with Mario was that Mario never really had much of a voice. I mean, he was not into long dialogues and diatribes. He did woohoo, and that was pretty much it.
Let's go.
Oh, it's a me. It's a Mario.
It's Mario.
You're the same person.
Monologuing that came from characters. So you were able to play around with how he would actually sound to an extent. With Optimus, yes. Ever since the inception of the original Transformers, he has a certain character buildup, almost a blueprint of how Optimus Prime should be. From Orion Pax being given the mantle of a Prime, all the way into the live action stuff, where you could argue some of those live action Primes not really as good as the Optimus.
He phoned it in,
but they're all the same. Wait, it's all been Peter Cullen in all the live actions,
with the exception of
Optimus Prime has always been the Optimus Prime.
Wait, exception of what?
Optimus Primal.
Other iterations.
Oh, that's Ron Perlman.
Yeah, but in this case, you could tell. I mean, here's the thing: when the first Transformers movie came out way back in 2007, I'll be honest. When I heard that voice again, I cried because that was my childhood from like 23, 24 years prior. To hear that voice again, it was one of the smartest castings I think I've ever seen. You know, by the second one, it wasn't okay. It was okay. But by the third, fourth, and fifth, you could tell he was just kind of just either under contract. See that? Okay, thank you. You know, 1986, one will stand, one will fall, and all of us cry.
And we talking about the movie, right?
Yeah.
I found out the other day that Judd Nelson, or I think that's his acronym, Judd from the guy from Breakfast Club.
Judd Nelson, yeah.
Judd Nelson was in the original Transformer movie.
He probably was.
Hot Rod, yes.
He's Hot Rod.
And he was almost fired off Breakfast Club. Molly Ringwald, and the guy that played the principal convinced John Hughes not to fire him because he was such a complete douche and a character. To get into character, he was making fun of Molly Ringwald's blind father, you know, and just trashing her so badly because he was in character. He was trying to irritate her. And John Hughes, who's very protective of Molly Ringwald by that point, nearly fired him. But the principal, whoever it was, and Molly Ringwald convinced Hughes not to fire Judd Nelson off that movie.
Oh, wow.
And that is why you don't make Rodimus the leader of the Autobots.
Oh, God, friggin' Rodimus Prime.
From the dead.
Dare to believe you can survive. Dude, come on, stand Bush.
Whoa, Paul. No, Kevin,
just...
no. So you're telling me in order for him to be a douchebag, he was really trying to embody that character by making fun of another actor.
Method actors will do that. And honestly,
that's why they were dubbed as the Brat Pack, because they were unruly.
My struggle a lot of times is I have to method if I have to act. I have to get into that character. So it's weird, but the best content I ever do is anger and hate. You know, and I will pull into that and I will carry that and I will walk around with it. The problem is it feeds into you. And in my particular case, if I had to play that role, yes, I would be a terror on set and everyone would hate me because that's what it would be required to. I'm a terrible actor by comparison to a lot of them. But the reality is I know what that feels like. Meryl Streep, when she did Devil Wears Prada, she said to Anne Hathaway first day, she's like, this is the only time I'm going to be nice to you. After this, you will hate me. And she got into method actor character and crushed that role because she became that role, that character.
Okay. But show you why Judd Nelson didn't really have too much to do with the other Brat Pack movies, as opposed to saying
no, that's because he pissed off John Hughes
or Emilio Estevez.
So my thing is, they should, like, if you're a method actor, you should give fair warning to people ahead of time.
Oh yeah,
and let them know. Look, if I say something out of line, just know that it's because I'm trying to get in character, not because this is how I am. Yeah. This is not how I am. But in order for me to get in character, I will say some harsh things to you. Just be aware.
Jim Carrey tried to do that with Man on the Moon.
He was that. They hated him. They hated. Well, see, it was funny because a lot of the cast of Taxi and even Danny DeVito were like, I can't tell the difference between him and Andy Kaufman. Because he was so method. You know who else was really heavy method? Eric Stoltz in Back to the Future. If you ever listen to Tom Wilson's interview with him, he was like, basically, it's like, my name's not Eric. My name is Marty. Okay, Marty, stop shoving. So that scene, when they're in the cafeteria and they're pushing each other, apparently Stoltz was like full in, like shoving hardcore, and really starting to bruise up like the clavicle of Tom Wilson. He's like, Marty, do it again, and I'm gonna punch you. So he was actually kind of half relieved when he found out that he was getting fired and Michael J. Fox came in, and the rest is history.
Yeah, we played with Michael J. Fox, who had his own hand problems, but not with pushing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I said to people, like it should be a way to just let people know, if I'm going to be a douchebag, be aware that it's just me acting, not me physically being the douchebag.
Like Meryl did in Devil Wears Prada, where she at least gave Anne Hathaway a warning and then became an asshole.
Or every episode we are on here.
Wasn't it Jared Leto that when he was the Joker, he pulled pranks on his cast members to get into character?
Yeah, Jared Leto.
He actually was the Joker throughout the whole entire moment.
I know for a fact that Joaquin Phoenix pissed off Robert De Niro on the Joker.
Yes,
because I was there. I wasn't there for the scene itself, but I was there for the follow up after after he shoots him and kills him, and there's a whole aftermath outside this the stages and everything. They had shot like 6 or 7 days or 8 days of like the inside studio stuff, and I talked to some of the people that were there like the entire run, and they're like, De Niro hates him. Because in this particular case, De Niro works very closely off script. He does not budge from off script. He just stays script all the way through. And Joaquin Phoenix was so method as the Joker that he was making up his lines and making up his dialogue and being the kind of chaotic evil that the Joker kind of ends up being, and just making up his dialogue. And it screwed up the whole timing of everything because you got one guy bouncing all over the place and the other guy being very straight-laced. And De Niro was so pissed. The people I was talking to was like, yeah, De Niro hates him right now. He is so angry that he can't stay on script.
But you know what? It's better because you got to realize with that character, you have to be all over the place.
You can't be on script with that kind of character.
Exactly. So
kind of like Jim Carrey, it did all his own lines in the Sonic movie.
Yeah,
as Eggman, he's improvised all his lines. Majority of them were, they said, Jim, do whatever you want, and
it works.
And it works.
But see, in this case here, when you have a director that allows that kind of freedom, it's great for a lot of case method actors because they're not constricted by a script. They go with what they feel in the moment. They go with whatever movement, and you work around it. That is the best kind of actor or director that I usually find. It's the ones that insist on making you stay in character their way, their rules, their writing, that constricts a role a lot. Sometimes it still works, but for some people that prefer the ad lib and the improv, like I do, I like to have the freedom and control to just wing it as I go.
Right.
I mean, Ryan, I told you this already. We'll leave the rest of that story for another time. But that Truman, Capote, and Swan, they let me ad-lib all the way through that, me and Treat Williams. I just made up my lines as I went along. And I had so much fun because I wasn't constricted. Gus Van Sant was just like, I don't know, just make something up. We hammered it out ahead of time about, like, we're going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about this. And he was just like, all right, go. And they just kind of ran with it. And, it was...
Take whatever spark you could and grow it into a great flame.
Right. Prefer the British one, by the way.
But I think method acting is the best way of acting besides going on script, because at the same time, yes, reading the script and staying in character, sometimes it could be like some grammatical errors on the script, and they be like, read the script, and you like, but yeah, there's a grammatical error on the script that I don't agree with, or there's something that the way the script is written that I don't agree with.
Right. You know what's great for ad lib, and I'll get to you, Rob, as soon as I say this, I promise. Informative murder porn are fantastic for letting you ad lib. Like Evil Lives Here, Mysteries at the Museum. My wife is a serial killer, or any other thing. They allow so much freedom.
Hopefully, will come out this year. Yes.
Yeah, they do. They allow so much freedom and let you just say whatever the heck you want and run with it. So Evil Lives Here, when I did that, last March, they're just like, yeah, this is the basic storyline. This is just, say something along these lines, but we'll figure it out. They just let me go. And I was like, all right, cool. So got paid in 3 days. Go ahead.
What I was going to say was, it's like, example I have is when I was in Running the Bases. I play multiple characters, but the day that I came in and played the coach, my character wasn't supposed to have any lines at all. I wasn't supposed to have any lines in the movie. But then they're like, hey, is the coach still here? Because I was about to go because I had to go to work. So I was about to leave early. And so I come up there, and the kids were like, say, hey, go to, hurry. Because I'll be honest, I never played baseball, so I don't know baseball terminology. But all these kids that they got to play the different characters, they've all played actual baseball. So they're like, say, go to, hurry. Then I found out a month after we shot that they're like, hey, you're one of the people told me, hey, you're not going to be in the movie because you don't have an agent, or my voice wasn't going to be in the movie. But the problem is, I think they had to keep the scene because my voice is so loud and I talk very loud that I don't think they had the chance. If they edited it, it may have not looked right. So that's how I got to keep my part. And I was invited to the mini premiere they did. And then that's when I found out that I had a talking line in the movie, so that was pretty cool. And then they gave me credit at the end of the my name's in the credits.
Was that a SAG project or non-union project?
To be honest, I don't know. I can find out after show. I do know. Yeah, I don't. I don't know.
Basically, Rob, what you're saying is, as long as we're loud enough on set, we'll be able to keep up.
It has to unmistakably be you.
What?
Otherwise, it falls into what they call an omni.
Right.
And if it's an omni in this case, they can't prove it's you. In which case, they can't. You're kind of at their mercy.
They did show me. Like I got to see the back end of me, and you hear me say, because you hear me off screen, you hear let's go, let's go. That's totally off screen, but that's my voice. And then Rob's acting my
Just yell.
And then I say go to, hurry, and you get to see the full back of me yelling that. And then they put my if you watch the movie at the end of the credits, it says Robert Manning, Mustang's coach.
Nice. Good on you.
So yeah. To me, I think it was non-union, but I'm okay that I didn't get, because people are like, well, do you get royalties? And I'm like, no, because I didn't have an agent. That's why they originally got.
You're better off if it's non-union. I'll talk to you about that later. But.
Yeah. Anyways, also a quick thing. I'm excited for this coming up weekend is we're doing press for Northwest Arkansas Comic-Con.
Yes, up to which I had nothing to do with that. You just sent them a message. And you're like, can we do this? And I go, he tells me after the fact. He's like, basically, was it cool that I reached out and got accepted before telling you? I was like, yeah, screw it. It's like,
God. We've done press for them in the past. So I messaged the owner. I'm like, hey, can I do press for this? He's like, email our thing. And so I did. And people we may get to interview this weekend is Dan Green, which is known for Yu-Gi-Oh! And speaking of Sonic, he was Knuckles. Then Eric Stewart's going to be there. Seto Kaiba. Maybe Alan Tunick we may get to interview. That one would be really huge if we get to.
Steve the Pirate.
And so yeah, there's all kinds of the 4 original voice actors of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Speaking of Rob Paulson, we've already interviewed him. So I'm hoping to grab the other 3 turtles to go with that. Courage Collar Dog. Kurt Angles is going to be there.
Got it. Nice.
Kurt Angle?
Did I say that right?
Maybe.
It's a wrestler. His name's Kurt. I thought it was Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle. Okay, yeah. Kurt
Angle.
Yeah, he's going to be at the con.
All right.
If Day and Ryan, if you guys have any questions y'all want me to ask him, message me, because y'all know wrestling I don't.
Okay.
See if he's willing to do a shout out to Jabronis United.
That would be, just to ask him to do a shout out.
Shout out would be good, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk later.
But anyway.
So, all right, cool. I guess that's going to do it.
All right. Well,
because I'm getting hungry.
I have one hiccup.
We have 78 more things to go through, and I promise we'll wrap it up. Go ahead, Dave.
Everybody knows about my costume that they see on the.
Here we go.
Yep. We're going in on this one.
All right, no, hold on.
I'll say this for Jabronis United.
Hey, this is something that should be for Wednesday, not for today.
Okay, we'll save it for Jabronis United.
Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Oh wait, is that date? No, I'm just kidding. No. What is this?
This is arguably the worst and/or greatest Christmas animated movie of all time.
Oh my god!
It is called Rhapsody Street Kids Believe in Santa. Now.
Right, Rhapsody Street Kids, right.
Let me break this down real quick. You see that animation. It's the animation of the movie. So you have Walter Jones from Power Rangers. You have Mark Hamill, Paige O'Hara, Nancy Cartwright, Jodie Benson, Grey DeLise, Deborah Wilson, Clint Howard, Jack Angel, and April Winchell. You have the cast members from Mad TV. You have the cast member. You have the voice of Belle, the voice of Bart Simpson, the voice of Little Mermaid, Mark Hamill in this, and the entire animation looks like that.
What the freak?
Yeah, I think
I watched it when I had COVID. It was still not worth it during COVID.
Hey, we're COVID brothers.
Oh God, second time in a year. But anyway, we'll do a review of that down the line. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, my name's Rob. That's Day. That's Brian. And that's Scott, and this is Tales from the Film Set! Woo!